Embraer S.A. is a Brazilian aerospace conglomerate that produces commercial, military, executive and agricultural aircraft and provides aeronautical services. Their headquarters is in São José dos Campos, São Paulo State. Embraer is a member of the Air Transport Action Group. Its CEO, Frederico Curado, is the 2012 recipient of the Tony Jannus Award, given annually for distinguished contributions to commercial aviation. In 2013, the company competed with Canadian rival Bombardier for the title of the third-largest airplane maker after Airbus and Boeing. History: seeking a domestic aircraft manufacturer, the Brazilian government made several investments in this area during the 1940s and 50s, but it was not until 1969 that Embraer Brasileira de Aeronautical was created as a government-owned corporation. The company's first product was a turboprop transport, the Embraer M110 Bandeirantes. Early growth: the Brazilian government contributed to Embraer's early growth by providing licensed production contracts. The company increased its product line. It sold solely to the domestic market until 1975. While military aircraft made up the majority of Embraer's products during the 1970s, by 1985 a regional airliner had debuted, the Embraer M120 Brasilia. Aimed at the export market, this plane marked the first of Embraer's highly successful small airliners. License-built Pipers: in 1974 the company started to produce Piper aircraft light planes under license. Piper first put together knockdown kits in their U.S. factory for Embraer to assemble and markets in Brazil and Latin America. By 1978 most of the parts and components were being sourced locally. Between 1974 and 2000 nearly 2,500 license-built Pipers were produced by Embraer. Privatization: born from a Brazilian government plan and having been state-run from the beginning, Embraer began a privatization process alongside many other state-controlled companies during the government of Itamar Franco. This privatization effort saw Embraer sold on December 7, 1994, and helped it avoid a looming bankruptcy. The company continued to win government contracts. The Brazilian government retains interest through possession of golden shares, which allow it veto power. Initial public offerings: in 2000, Embraer made simultaneous initial public offerings on the New York Stock Exchange and B.M&F stock exchanges. As of 2008, its New York Stock Exchange traded shares were American depository receipts representing 4 B.M&F shares. As of 2008 ownership was, Bozano Group 11.10%, Previous 16.40%, Sistel 7.40%, Dassault Aviation 2.1%, EADS 2.1%, Thales 2.1%, Safran 1.1%, Government of Brazil 0.3%, the remainder being publicly traded. Product line expansion: military, regional and executive. In the mid-1990s the company pursued a product line more focused on small commercial planes and the military aircraft that had previously made up the majority of its manufacturing. Larger regional airliners with 70-110 seats and smaller business jets soon followed. Today the company manufactures for both defense and commerce. Military transport: on April 19, 2007, Embraer announced it was considering the production of a twin-jet military transport, the Embraer KC-390. Work actually began in May 2009 with funding from the Brazilian Air Force. Correios, the Brazilian Postal Service, has shown interest in buying this aircraft, in lieu of using commercial freight service for mail transport. Using much of the technology developed for the Embraer 190, the C-390 would carry up to 23 tons of cargo, and aims at replacing Cold War-era cargo aircraft. While firm orders for this yet-to-be-produced Hola do not exist, Argentina has asked for 6 examples and several South American nations have also expressed interest. Government subsidy controversy: Brazil and Canada engaged in an international, adjudicated trade dispute over government subsidies to domestic plane makers in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The World Trade Organization decided Brazil ran an illegal subsidy program, PROX, benefiting its national aviation industry from at least 1999 Euro 2000, and that Canada illegally subsidized its indigenous regional airliner industry, comprising Bombardier Aerospace. Production bases and facilities. The company's headquarters and a production base are in São Paulo José Copyright dos Campos, São Paulo, Brazil. It also has production bases in the state of São Paulo at Botucatu, Uguaio de Malo and Gavia do Paixoto. It may have other production bases as well. The company has offices in Beijing, Fort Lauderdale, Paris, Singapore, and Washington, D.C. Non-Brazilian main facilities, Embraer Portugal Europe. Production facilities for the Phenom 100 and 300, and Legacy 450 and 500 at Melbourne International Airport in Florida, USA. Subsidiaries, EAMS A Embraer Aircraft Maintenance Services Incorporated. A Euro Maintenance Services Site. OGMA A Industrial Arona Utica de Portugal A Aircraft Component Maintenance, Repair and Manufacturing, plus Aircraft Maintenance Services. Embraer Aircraft Holding, Incorporated. A its U.S. headquarters are near Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in a facility founded in 1979. Its external relations office is in Washington, D.C. Joint ventures, Harbin Embraer manufactures aircraft from the ERJ family for the Chinese market. Aircraft products, commercial. Embraer M110 Bandeirantes, Embraer M120 Brasilia, Embraer FMACBA 123 Vector, Embraer Regional Jet, Embraer ERJ 135, Embraer ERJ 140, Embraer ERJ 145. Embraer E-Jet family, Embraer 170, Embraer 175, Embraer 190, Embraer 195. Military. Embraer M111 Bandeirada, a special version designed for maritime patrol, used by the Brazilian Air Force, Embraer M312 Tucano, Embraer M314 Super Tucano, AMX International AMX, Embraer 99, Embraer 145 AW&C, Embraer 145 SAGS, Embraer P99, Embraer KC390, Corporate. Embraer Phenom 100, Embraer Phenom 300, Embraer Legacy 450, Embraer Legacy 500, Embraer Legacy 600, Embraer Legacy 650, Embraer Lineage 1000, Agriculture, Embraer Panama, Utility, Embraer M121 Xingu, Experimental, Embraer MFTLF, Future. In October 2010, Embraer suggested plans to develop very long-range business jets, entering a sector currently dominated by Gulfstream, Bombardier, and Dassault. In October 2013 they unveiled the Lineage 1000E. In May 2011, Embraer announced that it was considering building a larger airliner than the E-Jets, with 5 abreast seating, but, eventually, chose to develop the second generation of its E-Jet family, as E-Jet C2. In February 2014, India's newest airline, Air Costa, announced an order for 50 E-Jet C2 aircraft worth $2.94 billion at list price. The order has an option for another 50 planes. Licensed version aircraft, military, Embraer Xavante, general aviation, Embraer Zarnaca, Embraer Carisco, Embraer Carioca, Embraer M720 Minuano, Embraer Navajo, Embraer Cetnejo, Embraer Tupi. Commercial aircraft deliveries. The numbers include military versions of commercial aircraft. Total delivered backlog options as of June 30, 2007, 862-53-131 145 family, 256-399-719 and 170 190th family, competition in the regional jet market, references. Bibliography, Monks, Robert A. G. Manu, Nell, Corporate Governance, John Wiley and Sonsa, 651 Euro pp. External links. Embraer History, Embraer Historical Centre. Aircraft History, Embraer Historical Centre. Embraer History, BR, JetSite, 2006 A. Pictures of the Embraer fleet, SE, Airplaneser. Further reading, Brazil Euro unregistered trademark SA&D industry centers around Embraer, Aviation Week, April 23, 2012 A.